It's strange how one summer night can leave a mark on you that never really fades. I'll never forget the night James and I ventured out to his family's lake house tucked away in the middle of nowhere. We were 20, carefree and feeling invincible. It was a night like any other, or so we thought. James's parents were out of town, leaving the house to us. The silence of the place always felt comforting, like we had all the space and freedom in the world. The lake, black and still under the moonlight, stretched out in front of us like a quiet abyss. We spent the evening drinking beer, laughing and reminiscing about our childhoods. It felt like a perfect escape. That's when we saw it. A flash of light. It wasn't a natural reflection, and it wasn't a car's headlights either. It blinked in a rhythmic pattern, like someone was trying to send a message from across the water. I could feel the hairs on my neck stand up. Maybe it's Morse code, he guessed, half joking, half serious. We laughed it off at first, but the more I thought about it, the more my curiosity took hold. There was something about the isolation of the place that felt off. And that light? It was deliberate, not random. After a few more minutes of debate, we decided we had to investigate. We grabbed our kayaks, leaving the safety of the shore behind, and paddled towards the far side of the lake where the light had come from. The closer we got, the more my heart raced. I don't know what I was expecting, but this didn't feel like just some prank or a random event. The shore was littered with abandoned houses, homes that had fallen into disrepair, forgotten by time and people. One house stood out from the rest. It looked especially worn down, with broken windows and peeling paint. As we docked the kayaks and approached the property, a strange feeling washed over me. I'd explored abandoned places before, but this felt different. It felt wrong. We crept inside, pushing through a gap in the rotting door. The air was thick with dust, and the wooden floors creaked under our weight. The house was empty, stripped of everything valuable, no furniture, no personal items. It was just hollow. A place that had once been a home, now reduced to a shell. Then we heard it, a faint hum, something mechanical. We followed the sound, turning a corner into what must have been the living room, and that's when we saw it. An old projector, positioned perfectly in front of a window. The lens was focused on the glass, and the faint hum grew louder. Someone had left it on, its light flickering in the dim room. The projector was casting an image onto the wall, just a blur at first, but then it became clear. A flashing sequence. Morse code. I couldn't breathe. My mind raced. Who was trying to communicate like this, and why here? "We need to get out of here," he said quietly, eyes darting nervously toward the door. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Someone was coming. I could feel the tension rise in my chest. Without thinking, we both turned and bolted for the exit. We ran back to the kayaks, our hearts pounding in our ears. But when we reached the water, we stopped dead in our tracks. Our kayaks were gone. We stood there in stunned silence for a moment. The only sound was our breath, ragged and quick. Panic set in. Someone had taken our kayaks. Someone had been watching us, waiting. "We're jumping in," he said. Without waiting for me to respond, he plunged into the lake. The cold hit me like a punch, the water sharp and biting against my skin. But it didn't matter. We swam, fought against the current, desperate to get away from whatever or whoever was still on the shore. I don't know how long we swam, but eventually we made it to the other side. Shivering, exhausted, and terrified, we climbed onto the shore and stumbled back to the house. We didn't talk much. The silence between us felt heavy. I think we both knew we'd just barely escaped something we couldn't explain. We called the police, of course, but when they arrived, there was nothing. No trace of anyone. No sign of the kayaks, no projector, not even a footprint in the dirt. They searched the area but came up with nothing. The house empty. It was like the whole thing had been a bad dream. But I knew what I saw. We both did. That night still haunts me. I think about the light across the water, the strange Morse code, and the projector. Who was trying to send a message? Who was waiting for us in that abandoned house? I don't know if I'll ever find out. The mystery hangs in the air, unresolved. And the worst part, I'll always wonder if we were just lucky to escape, or if someone was watching us, letting us get away for a reason. I haven't been back to the lake house since, and I don't think I ever will. Some things are better left unexplored. But every time I hear about strange lights or abandoned places, I wonder if someone else will find that projector. And if they do, will they get the same message we did?